President Bola Tinubu has sacked the board of the National Petroleum Company, NNPC, including its Group Chief Executive Officer Mele Kyari and Board Chairman Pius Akinyelure. This development was revealed by the President's Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, in a statement titled, President Tinubu reconstitutes NNPC Limited Board, appoints new chairman group CEO. President Tinubu cited the need for enhanced operational efficiency, restored investor confidence, and a more commercially viable NNPC as the reasons behind the decision. The 11-man board has Engineer Bashir Bayo Ojulari as the new group CEO and Amadou Musa Kida as non-executive chairman.
Something big just happened in Nigeria's oil industry. After years of steering the Nigerian Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, Mele Kyari is out, and in his place, a new leader, Bayo Ojulari. Now, if you're thinking, well, it's just another leadership change, hold on. This isn't just about swapping one executive for another. This move could mark a turning point for Nigeria's oil sector. And depending on how it plays out, it might just reshape the industry in ways we haven't seen before. So, who is Bayo Ojulari? Why was he chosen to lead one of Africa's most powerful oil companies? More importantly, what challenges is he stepping into? And what does this mean for the future of fuel prices, refinery operations, and the broader economy? Let's break it down. So for a start, what exactly is the NNPCL? And why does it matter so much? Think of it as a backbone of Nigeria's oil industry. It's not just any company. It controls the country's vast oil reserves, oversees exploration and production, and plays a huge role in fuel imports and refinery operations. Basically, if you're talking about oil in Nigeria, you're talking about the NNPCL. And because oil is the lifeblood of Nigeria's economy, whatever happens at the NNPCL affects everything, from fuel prices to government revenue and even the value of the naira. But it always wasn't like this. In 2022, the NNPCL went through a major transformation. It switched from being a government agency to a fully commercial company. That means, in theory, it should now run like a private business, focused on profits, efficiency, and competition. No more endless government bailouts, no more operating like a slow-moving bureaucracy. At least, that was the idea. Of course, the reality hasn't been that simple. The company still faces challenges, from oil theft to refinery delays and international competition. And that's exactly the kind of storm Bayo Ojulari is walking into. Now, you would ask, what makes him right for the job? Bayo Ojulari isn't just another executive with a fancy title. He's got real experience where it matters. He spent years at Shell Nigeria, serving as the managing director of its exploration unit, where he played a key role in deepwater oil production. Now that's a big deal because deepwater drilling is one of the most complex and expensive aspects of the oil business. It requires precision, strategy, and a deep understanding of the global energy market, all skills that Ojulari brings to the table. After Shell, he took on a leadership role at Renaissance Africa Energy Co., further solidifying his reputation as a top industry expert. Now, he's stepping into NNPCL at a time when Nigeria's oil sector is at a crossroads, and the challenges ahead, they are massive. But he's not coming in alone. Alongside him, a brand new 11-member board has been appointed, led by Chairman Amadou Musa Kida. This new team is expected to bring in new ideas, cut through inefficiencies, and most importantly, get the NNPCL back on track. But can they really pull it off? Because the challenges ahead are massive. And one of the first things on Ojulari's plate is dealing with Nigeria's refining crisis and a controversial plan to sell crude oil in naira. First on the list, the NNPCL's controversial Naira for Crude plan. Right now, Nigerian refiners, including the Dangote refinery, have to buy crude oil in US dollars, which puts pressure on the country's foreign reserves and makes fuel more expensive. The plan to allow local refineries to buy crude in naira could help stabilize fuel prices, but it's a tricky move that requires careful execution. Ojulari will need to balance the interests of the government, international oil companies, and local refiners to make this work. Then there's the issue of oil theft, a long-standing problem that costs Nigeria billions of dollars every year. At one point, crude oil production fell below 1 million barrels per day, largely due to pipeline vandalism and illegal siphoning. Fixing this won't be easy, but it's crucial if Nigeria wants to remain a major player in the global oil market. Ojulari will need to work closely with security agencies, local communities, and industry stakeholders to put an end to large-scale theft. And of course, there's the refinery problem. Nigeria still relies heavily on imported petroleum products, which makes no sense for an oil-producing country. Increasing local refining capacity is a must, and with Dangote refinery now operational, the pressure is on for the NNPCL to step up its game. Ojulari's leadership will be key in pushing for refinery upgrades, ensuring a steady crude supply, and reducing Nigeria's dependence on imported fuel. The stakes are high and all eyes on him, but there's a real question about him being able to deliver. If he does, what then does this mean for Nigeria's crude oil future? Whenever there's a big leadership change in Nigeria's oil sector, people talk, and this time is no different. One of the loudest voices welcoming the new NNPCL leadership is High Chief Government Ekpemupolo, better known as Tom Polo. If you know anything about Nigeria's oil industry, you know that Tom Polo is a major player when it comes to securing the country's pipelines and tackling oil theft. He's made it clear that he believes in the new team and their ability to increase production and bring the much-needed stability to the sector. And that's no small endorsement. Beyond individual support, there's a broader sense of cautious optimism. Industry stakeholders, oil producers, and energy analysts are all watching closely. Can this new management finally steer NNPCL towards true efficiency and profitability? That remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, Ojulari and his team have a lot to prove. They have to prove to the critics that the appointment is based on their abilities and not politically or ethnically motivated as some parties have begun saying.
A lot of persons are talking about the crop of things that the president, brought on the board. There are those who are saying, why is there no representation from the South as it is? Because the oil is from that region, the Niger Delta and all of it.
There's this saying that you don't disband a winning team.
Are you saying the other team was not winning?
No, I'm coming. Flip that script. Flip that script. There is no need to keep a team that is not winning. That is one of the reasons I believe all this happened, because Kyari had been on the news a whole lot, and not for very positive things concerning the NNPC and so on. Another thing, when I saw the story, the first thing that came to my mind is that, you see, the prices of petrol went down and now it's back up. Is that the reason? Until I now read it. It's always good things like that happen when an establishment is having problems. Change the leadership, put a new one. But as she said, it's political appointment, so people are asking political questions. How come nobody from the South, where this product is coming from, is there? We only have one representative there from the South, as a member of the board. They were expecting that maybe the chairman or the group CEO would have come from there.
Where does NNPCL go from here? With Bayo Ojulari now at the helm, there's cautious hope that this could be the beginning of a real transformation if he can navigate the tough landscape, boosting oil production, securing pipelines, and strengthening local refining. NNPCL could finally start operating like the commercial giant it was meant to be. In reality, this won't be easy. The oil sector is unpredictable, and politics will always play a role. One of the largest topics on the table is the possibility of NNPCL going public. There's been talk for a while now about an initial public offering, an IPO, which would mean private investors could own a stake in the company. If done right, this could bring in fresh capital, improve efficiency, and push NNPCL to compete on a global level. But the flip side of going public is also increased scrutiny, transparency, and pressure to deliver real results. If Ojulari and his team manage to pull this off, NNPCL could shift from being just another state-owned entity to a true powerhouse in the international oil market. If things go south, well, it wouldn't be the first time Nigeria's oil sector had big plans that never quite materialized.
Well, for me, I've always said that if you talk about mention words like probity, accountability, transparency, exemplary leadership, and then you have those words in the same sentence with NNPCL, it would be an aberration. Because over the years, there have been declare the accounts, declare the earnings and all of that, it's notoriously opaque when you talk about the NNPCL and their proceeds. So it is good that the president has done this. So we hope that this will boost investors' confidence. That is to talk about the new leadership that have now come in, because they have little time to prove to the investors that yes, we have a new NNPCL.
For now, all eyes are on the new leadership. Will they rise to the challenge? Or will this just be another leadership change with little to show for it? Time will tell. But the future of Nigeria's oil industry is being decided right now. And if there's one place that's about to feel the ripple effect of Nigeria's NNPCL leadership change, it's Ibeju-Lekki. With Bayo Ojulari now leading NNPCL, one of the key priorities will be ensuring a steady crude oil supply to local refiners, especially the Dangote refinery. This $19 billion facility, located in Ibeju-Lekki, is already positioned to transform Nigeria's fuel landscape by cutting down imports and stabilizing prices. But here's the most important part that people aren't paying enough attention to: the domino effects this will have on the surrounding real estate market. As the refinery scales up operations, the demand for housing, commercial spaces, and infrastructure in the area is going to skyrocket. And with talks of more refineries potentially springing up, Ibeju-Lekki isn't just an industrial hub, it's a gold mine in the making. The smart money is already moving in, securing properties before the prices go through the roof. If you've been thinking about investing in real estate, now might be the perfect time to stake your claim in Ibeju-Lekki, because when oil moves, so does everything else. The question is, will you be ahead of the curve, or will you watch from the sidelines as property values shoot up? If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay ahead of the game, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest updates. Catch you in the next one.